Chapter 17. Confronting the Bullies. Trevor, always eager to assert his dominance, wasted no time in making his move when he noticed the new transfer student, Mia, garnering attention from their classmates. With an arrogant swagger, he sauntered over to where she sat, a smug grin plastered across his face. Ignoring the curious glances and murmurs of the other students, Trevor leaned against Mia's desk, his voice dripping with false charm. "Hey there, beautiful," he began, his tone oozing with confidence. "I couldn't help but notice you sitting here all alone. Figured you could use some company." Mia regarded him with a cool gaze, her expression unreadable as she assessed the boy before her. Unfazed by Trevor's blatant attempt at flirtation, she simply nodded in acknowledgement, offering a polite but distant smile. But Trevor, always one to take a hint, pressed on, eager to impress the new arrival with his bravado. With exaggerated gestures, he regaled her with stories of his supposed exploits, boasting of his athletic prowess and popularity among their peers. As he spoke, Mia's eyes flickered with amusement, a faint smirk playing at the corners of her lips. Unimpressed by Trevor's antics, she simply nodded along, her true thoughts hidden behind a facade of polite interest. But beneath her composed exterior, Mia couldn't help but feel a twinge of annoyance at Trevor's persistent attempts to monopolize her attention. She had hoped for a fresh start at her new school, free from the petty dramas and power struggles that often plagued high school social circles. With a subtle shift of her posture, Mia subtly signaled her desire to be left alone, hoping that Trevor would take the hint and move on. But to her dismay, he remained oblivious to her cues, his ego too inflated to notice anything beyond his own desires. And so, as the bell rang to signal the end of class, Mia found herself trapped in an awkward exchange with Trevor, her patience wearing thin with each passing moment. With a polite but firm dismissal, she extricated herself from his presence, determined to forge her own path in this new and unfamiliar environment. As lunchtime rolled around, Trevor seized the opportunity to once again assert his dominance over Alex, his favorite target for bullying. With a smirk plastered on his face, he grabbed a handful of corn kernels from his tray and took aim, ready to unleash his latest round of torment. But this time, as Trevor prepared to launch his attack, a voice cut through the air, halting him in his tracks. "Hey, cut it out," came the firm but measured tone of Mia, the new transfer student who had been quietly observing the scene unfold. Startled by her sudden intervention, Trevor turned to face Mia, his expression a mixture of surprise and annoyance. "Who do you think you are?" he sneered, attempting to brush off her interference with a dismissive wave of his hand. But Mia remained unfazed, her gaze steady as she confronted Trevor head-on. "I'm someone who doesn't tolerate bullying," she replied, her voice calm but resolute. "And it's clear to me that you're the one causing trouble here." Trevor bristled at her words, his usual bravado faltering in the face of her unwavering confidence. For once, he found himself at a loss for words, unable to come up with a clever retort to counter Mia's pointed accusation. Sensing his momentary weakness, Mia took advantage of the opportunity to defend Alex, stepping between him and Trevor with a protective stance. "Leave him alone," she insisted, her tone leaving no room for argument. Reluctantly, Trevor backed down, realizing that he was outnumbered and outmatched by Mia's unwavering determination. With a frustrated huff, he begrudgingly retreated, shooting one last venomous glare in Alex's direction before slinking away, defeated. As the tension dissipated and the lunchtime chatter resumed, Alex found himself gazing at Mia with a newfound sense of admiration and gratitude. In that moment, he knew that he had found an unexpected ally in the form of the brave transfer student who had stood up to Trevor on his behalf. And as he watched her return to her own lunch, a small but genuine smile tugged at the corners of Alex's lips, thankful for the unexpected act of kindness that had brightened his day. As dismissal time approached, Alex found himself on cleaning duty, a task he took seriously despite the occasional teasing. As he finished cleaning and prepared to leave, he noticed Trevor and his friends waiting outside the classroom. Knowing their intentions, Alex quickly devised a plan. He snuck out the window and made his way to the third floor, hoping to evade Trevor and his friends. From his hiding spot, Alex watched as Trevor's friends spotted him and gave chase. With nowhere else to go, Alex teleported home, avoiding the confrontation entirely. Unaware of Alex's escape, Trevor and his friends continued to wait for him to emerge. Later that evening, around 7 p.m., Alex decided to check if Trevor and his friends were still waiting. Teleporting back to school, he overheard Trevor boasting about waiting there all night. Taking advantage of the situation, Alex returned home, donned a realistic horror mask, and waited until midnight. Teleporting back to the school, Alex crept up to Trevor and his friends, who were still waiting. With a sudden and eerie appearance, Alex scared them, causing them to scream and panic. After the prank, Alex left the scene and anonymously reported the disturbance to the police, who arrived and took Trevor and his friends to the station. At the station, Trevor and his friends, in their frightened state, claimed to have seen a ghost, leading the police to suspect them of being under the influence of drugs. Their parents were called to pick them up, and the incident served as a lesson for Trevor and his friends about the consequences of their actions.